When dunked in a dye pot side by side with untreated cotton, Dye-Lishus cotton will accept the dye and the untreated cotton will not. For this reason, I usually spin first and dye later. I use my hand spun for weft and prefer to dye the fabric. You can see that the warp, which is running in the horizontal direction, did not change color when the piece was dipped in the pink dye. These pieces were all woven on a white warp, which did not change color when it was dipped in the dye. If you watched part 2 of my video spinning cotton on the charka, you would have seen me demonstrate how to separate the colors in a striped sliver in order to get stripes for a plaid, and I called this a single shuttle plaid. If instead you dyed your colors in order, then you wouldn't have to separate the colors in the striped sliver. So here's the charka with some of this bumblebee being spun up, and there it is with the spindle in the shuttle on the loom, and here's the finished piece. Now there's a section at the end on the top which is the commercial yarn in both the warp and the weft. So you can see the difference in the color, in the regularity, and to my eye, I really prefer the more irregular striping pattern. Now, I didn't really care for the color. Here's that same section of the commercial yarn. So I dipped it in a natural dye to make it a little bit more reddish, and you can see that the commercial yarns did not accept the color. Now, because I do immersion dyeing of fabric, I often have dye left over. And so I'll put in little pieces of sliver just to exhaust the dye bath. And then I use those little bits of sliver and I spin them up just randomly and weave them. And I call this technique zanshi, which is using up leftovers, and kadi, which is hand-spun, hand-woven cloth. So this is what I call zanshi kadi.